Maybe we can go ahead and get started now. Tracy, take roll.
Harrington,
Here.
Hoffman,
Here.
Pollock, Smith,
Here.
Wason,
Here.
Okay, Annie, are you on now that I can hear you?
Yes. Can
Thank
you hear
you.
me?
Yes, ma'am. And Rakisha?
I'm here.
No, you're a star. I'm not. Okay. So everybody is present. Thank you. We're back on track. The agenda has no changes. Anyone wish to make an approval for the agenda?
So moved?
Second.
Second.
And moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 So we had to kind of tentatively, we're just looking for a.
All opposed? Motion carries. Now, Mr. City Attorney,
Yes, sir.
may we go into a closed session?
I would
Under Iowa Code Section 21.5, parenthesis 1C, to discuss strategy with counsel.
You may, and I recommend that you do so.
Thank you. Anyone wish to make a motion to go into executive session, please?
So moved. Second.
Second?
Okay. Tracy, please.
Smith,
Aye.
Harrington,
Aye.
Wason,
Aye.
Pollock,
Aye.
Hoffman,
Aye.
Okay, what I heard was 5 affirmative and none opposed, correct? We will go into executive session, please.
Guys, this is Brent. I'm here. The host needs to start my video, please.
Okay, it looks like we have everybody here. We've reconvened the meeting at 7:07 is what I have on the time. Consent agenda is before you. Anything you want to pull out of there before we take action? If not, a motion to approve the consent agenda, please.
So moved.
So move.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion or questions? All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, motion carries. Kevin, your turn.
You're muted, Kevin.
There we go. 4 quick updates. On the dog park project, the concrete contractor had 1 item left from last fall, and he's completed that. As of Friday, it's the pavement markings in the parking lot, so it's all striped now. Had some correspondence with the Parks Department today. They've got final grading to do, and then they'll be doing seeding and erosion control. They've done some tree planting, so they're still on shape, pretty good shape, I think, to open it up this summer, hopefully. Ranshaw Way Phase 5, we're about 90% completed with the survey work. So if you've seen our trucks out there, we've been doing a lot of surveying, and that'll be completed very soon, and then we'll get right into the design. Southwest Growth Utility Project. We had to reschedule the pre-construction meeting, but that's been rescheduled to Thursday of this week. So we'll know more about the construction schedule at that time. And then lastly, St. Andrews Drive, the contractor did start work April 1st. And the first couple of weeks it's been mainly stripping topsoil and filling the portion of the road near where the new roundabout's going to go, because that gets raised quite a bit. And the next couple of weeks, they'll be working on additional grading for the road and starting to install storm sewer. And that's all I have tonight for an update, unless you guys have questions.
Questions for Kevin?
Yeah, I just had one quick question. Do you think that they will change how they're going to do the project now that the Blues and Barbecue's off?
Probably not, because the phasing wasn't too bad to start with. We still are going to be maintaining the east entrance to Centennial the whole time. So I don't think it's going to affect it a whole lot.
Other questions? Thanks, Kevin. Ryan? You're up, Ryan.
Okay, thank you. A couple things on my end. I wanted to give a brief update on our COVID response. As you all know, we're still implementing our staffing plan, our reduced staffing plan, which consists of splitting our employees into 2 groups, essentially. We're going to continue to do that through April 30th. By splitting them in 2 groups, we have groups working in the office and at home every other day. Our facilities remain closed through April 30th. You are aware that we have canceled rec and library programming through the month of May. We also delayed our recreation programming registration by a month. So instead of the first week in April, we'll do that the first week in May. The nice thing about canceling programming in May, both Jenny and Shelley said it's a bit of a slow month generally for programming, just because school is still in session. So fortunately, hopefully things will get picked back up and we can have some programming in June. And then we've been in contact with NOICS as well, and they at this point intend to delay their season until June 1, and we'll work with them if it needs to be longer. Overall, I would note that our team is staying positive. They're doing a good job of reducing exposure while still completing the tasks and responsibilities that need to be completed. Switching gears to non-COVID related updates, the police station project is inching along. It's really looking good. I'm excited to be able to get people in there. Of course, that's at least the public is going to be for a while yet, but the police department is hoping to have occupancy by mid-May. Furnishings have already started to be delivered. The bulk of them will be the second half of this month. And then Diane, Chief Veniga, hopes to have her crew in there fully operational by mid-May. Do want to give some credit to Tricon as they've navigated this pandemic as well in splitting shifts, having people come in early, having people stay late, again, doing that 2-shift route. So they've worked hard to try to meet those deadlines. And then finally, the final update I have is has already been mentioned, and that is the Blues and Barbecue Committee came to a decision this week and has decided to cancel the event this year. So they'll be obviously we'll start that up again next year, but this year they felt the safe thing to do, and I agree wholeheartedly with them, was to cancel that event. I just got an email here from Tracy, and so I'll just make this quick announcement. We have Scouts BSA Troop 216 and Troop 270. So the Boy Scout troops are watching and attending tonight for their citizenship in the community, as well as their communication merit badges. Sarah Harris sent us that email, so thanks to those folks who are watching tonight. And that's all I have, unless there are questions.
Ryan, I'd like to echo your thanks to staff. The way that you guys have implemented the distancing and still doing the business of the city, and working in one of the hardest hit counties with this COVID crisis shows that what you guys are doing is making a difference. It's keeping the staff healthy, and I want to applaud you for your leadership and your team's leadership on this event. Only, I guess, question / comment I would have is, as we start to get into May, I believe, and this is just what I foresee happening, and I know things change every day, things will begin to come back online slowly, not all at once. As that happens, there will be individuals out and about that may have health issues, or the asymptomatic folks that the news talks about all the time. So I guess I would ask and that staff have plans in place to slowly reopen, and as people start to come back into programming and into offices, that we start thinking about just some safety things for our staff, separation or masks or whatever those things might be, just to kind of get ahead of that curve as we start to reopen things in the entire state.
Good points. Those are some things we've been talking about, and agree wholeheartedly with you.
For your information, as I understand from the governor's office, they will be announcing what they're going to do about the rest of the school year by this coming Friday. She was wanting to give everybody a 2-week notice, especially school districts. I don't anticipate them coming back the rest of the school year, but we shall see. Anything else for Ryan? Thanks, Ryan. The next item is mine. And in light of the situation that we have, I was wanting to propose to the council this evening that we allocate $2,000 from their unobligated fund that we have to the food pantry. They're getting hit pretty hard. The food pantries all over the place are really getting hit. And I wanted to see what you thought about it and if it would be okay for us to do that. Your opinion.
Sounds like a great idea, Mayor. Yeah, no problem with that.
I agree with that as well. That's one of the places many of the families in our community go to, so most definitely.
What was the unallocated amount from this year?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What was the unallocated amount from that this year?
82 or 83,000 that we hadn't done.
This ain't going away fast, so I'm fine with the $2,000. They're going to need more. If we have that money, they can come back and say, hey, that got us this far. What else do you need or something? But I would be totally in favor of it, and if they need more, that's fine too.
Good point, Brian. I would agree with that.
Yeah, it's not going to be a short-term haul, that's for sure. So if that's all right, since, let's see, I don't think we have to do that by resolution. You've already approved the budget for that item. So a simple motion to allocate an additional $2,000 to the pantry would be in order.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion or questions? All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, no. I heard a unanimous vote, so passed. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Mayor.
Next on our agenda is discussion and action for additional, where did that one? Tax increment, second consideration ordinance 2020-01. An ordinance providing for the division of taxes levied on taxable property in the March 2020 addition to the North Liberty Urban Renewal Area pursuant to section 403.19 of the Code of Iowa. Anyone wish to establish that second reading?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion or questions? Please take roll.
Harrington,
Aye.
Wason,
Aye.
Smith,
Aye.
Hoffman,
Aye.
Pollock,
Aye.
I heard 5 affirmative, none opposed. Is that correct? Second consideration passes 5 affirmative, none opposed. Number 2, now's the time for a public hearing on proposed development agreement with Diamond Dreams Sports Academy Limited Liability Corporation. Tracy, did we receive any written comment from the public yet?
no written comments have been received.
Anyone on the line wish to make comment on this? Hearing none, call the public hearing to a close. I would also advise persons who may be watching that we will take any additional comments on the subject through Friday, April 17th. Next, you will have a resolution number 2020-32, a resolution, a resolution approving development agreement with Diamond Dreams Sports Academy, authorizing annual appropriation tax increment payments and pledging certain tax increment revenues to the payment of the agreement. Anyone wish to establish that resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Final discussion or questions? Tracy, please.
Pollock,
Aye.
Smith,
Aye.
Wason,
Aye.
Hoffman,
Aye.
Harrington.
Aye.
I heard 5 affirmative, none opposed. Is that correct? Hearing such, the resolution passes 5 affirmative, none opposed. Item 10, Aquatic Center HVAC replacement. This is a resolution number 2020-33, a resolution accepting the bid and authorizing execution of the contract for the Aquatic Center HVAC replacement project, North Liberty, Iowa. Kevin, do you want to go over the bids?
Sure, I can take this one. April 7th, the city opened 3 bids for the project. The engineer's estimate was $465,000. The low bid was from Apex Construction of Iowa City in the amount of $514,000. While we were somewhat disappointed with the bid, it was about 11% higher than the estimate. The good news is that the overall project budget is still intact. There's still about $20,000 left in contingency for that project, but we do recommend award to Apex Construction.
Kevin, just for the record, are you okay with that $20,000-ish in contingency? Is that a safe amount for us?
Sure,
Okay.
I would hope so.
Okay.
You never know, but I would hope so.
Anyone wish to establish that resolution, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Final discussion or questions? Tracy, please.
Harrington,
Aye.
Smith,
Aye.
Pollock,
Aye.
Wason,
Aye.
Hoffman,
I heard,
Aye.
okay, I've heard 5 affirmative, none opposed. Is that correct? Resolution passes 5 affirmative, none opposed. Public hearing regarding the FY 20 budget amendment. Anyone present on the line wishing to make comments on the amendment? Did we receive any written comments?
no comments were received.
Thank you. We'll close the public hearing if you would, please. You have resolution number 2020-34, approving amending the current budget for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2020. Anyone wish to establish that resolution?
So move.
Second.
Moved by Harrington, seconded by Smith. Final discussion or questions? Tracy, please.
Pollock,
Aye.
Wason,
Aye.
Harrington,
Aye.
Hoffman,
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
I heard 5 affirmative votes, none opposed. Is that correct? Resolution deemed passed, 5 affirmative, none opposed. Alliant easement, resolution number 2020-35, a resolution approving the underground electric line easement agreement between Interstate Power and Light Company and the city of North Liberty. Somebody'd like to just review that real quick, why, where, and how?
Sure. This is an easement that's been requested by Alliant to replace an existing easement in the Beaver Creek Park. The existing easement that they have is in our right of way, and it has a number of twists and turns in it. Then they are wanting to relocate the easement, and as it's depicted in the exhibit here in the packet. So that's a little straighter and is less likely to have faults or any difficulties to providing service. They think that as they've suggested, will allow them to replace or repair the existing cable and be a little more future proof. We've made some changes and amendments to the easement language and as they were recommended by our parks director and our street superintendent. Alliant has agreed to that, and so staff recommends approval.
Questions for Grant?
Just to confirm, Grant, that this easement is all within city property. There's no private property that's going through. Okay, thank you.
That's right.
Anyone wish to establish that resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Pollock, seconded by Wason, third by Harrington. Any other questions or discussion? Tracy, please.
Hoffman,
Aye.
Harrington,
Aye.
Pollock,
Aye.
Wason,
Aye.
Smith,
Aye.
Okay, I had 5 affirmative, none opposed. Is that correct? Resolution does pass on a 5-0 vote. Next item is a resolution number 2020-36, a resolution approving the easement agreement between TL&L Incorporated and the city of North Liberty. Somebody would like to comment on that one?
Sure. Our stormwater folks became aware of an issue with drainage from an agricultural field just owned by TLNL Incorporated that the city has offered, our streets department, our stormwater department have offered to do some grading on that agricultural property in order to eliminate some surface water runoff issues that have affected city improvements along Jones Boulevard. Normally, you would say, "Hey, private property owner, don't do that," but agricultural property is treated a little bit differently. They're basically exempt from everything. So we've asked for an easement to come on and do this property, some grading. The property owner has agreed to let us do that in the form of this temporary construction easement, and this will help eliminate runoff and sediment that's affecting city infrastructure. That's basically everything I know about it.
Okay. Questions for Grant? Anyone wish to establish that resolution?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Final questions? Tracy, please.
Harrington,
Aye.
Smith,
Aye.
Pollock,
Aye.
Hoffman,
Aye.
Wason.
Aye.
I've heard 5 affirmative votes, none opposed. Is that correct? Resolution passes 5 affirmative, 0 opposed. Number 14, special use funds for promotion of local businesses. Ryan, I'm going to drop that on you.
Okay, thank you for that. So the state has come out and said that cities can now spend money to help promote local businesses, and it would be considered a public purpose during this pandemic. So what we're asking for is permission to do so. We are currently working with Iowa City, Coralville, and several economic development organizations on some advertising out to businesses. And so this really looks specifically at getting information out about what's coming, what programs are coming from the state, what programs are coming from the federal government, so that these businesses can take advantage of the programs, can apply for funding. And so that's kind of the first part of this. We have funding in our economic development, a budget that would allow for this $4,000 expenditure. What we're looking for tonight is approval to approve, just general approval of the resolution so that we can move forward with things like this. Am I cutting out pretty bad?
Yeah.
But we got you now.
Did any of that make sense? Did any of that come through?
Mostly good.
Basically $4,000 for a group effort for economic development.
Yes, public, being able to spend public funds in promoting private business.
And this is a one-time,
Questions for Grant?
yeah, this is a one-time shot. It's not authorizing this over and over again. We have to do this each time, don't we?
If we have other opportunities, smaller opportunities that come up that we can fit into that budget, we could do that. Anything outside of advertising would require council approval.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Other questions for Ryan? Anyone wish to
I
establish?
just had a quick question, if you wouldn't mind, Mayor. Do you have any sense yet, Ryan, what this is going to look like, what the advertising will look like, and what type of businesses this will be targeted to help?
In terms of the type of business, the information that is coming out right now, it depends on what the state and the feds are authorizing. I think the organizations, the economic development organizations, are doing a good job of plastering a lot of information out there. And so a wide variety of business, just depending on the program. I don't know what it's going to look like in the papers or on on websites yet. I've seen a little bit of that. You've probably seen a lot of the email blasts as well, but there'll be more to come on that.
I guess the point that I'm trying to ask is whether this is going to be, will we be putting in like businesses in North Liberty specifically into this advertisement, Coralville businesses, Iowa City businesses, or will it just be blanketly saying, support businesses where you get large box stores, your Walmarts, your Costco's, and your Targets that are going to be inadvertently included in something like this that don't need the help?
Yeah, this will be, so we're going to utilize the North Liberty Leader, also the CBJ, and it'll be specific, again, the businesses that are allowed to take advantage of these programs through the state and federal government. I don't know that there's a lot of assistance out there for those big box stores that you're talking about right now because they're open and producing. So, a lot of the programs you're seeing are the small business between 2 and 25 employees.
Okay.
We do a lot of North.
Okay with that, Chris?
I got most of it. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
It's all right, man.
Therefore, you have resolution number 2020-37, a resolution declaring that promotion of local businesses during the COVID-19 pandemic by way of joint advertising support services serves a public purpose and approval of joint advertising support. Anyone wish to establish that resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Final discussion or questions? Tracy, please.
Pollock,
Aye.
Smith,
Aye.
Hoffman,
Aye.
Wason,
Aye.
Harrington,
Aye.
I heard 5 ayes and no nays. Is that correct? Resolution passes, 5 affirmative, none opposed. Southwest Growth Area Utilities Project. Who can handle that one for me?
I can, assuming you can make out what I'm saying, but essentially, 2 things are going on here. One, the quality control and testing is part of the contract. We did not approve initially because we wanted to get through design to better determine what those costs would be. We're now through design, have those costs laid out. And then the other part of this amendment is that we asked Fox Engineering for quite a bit more help as we started down the easement acquisition and property acquisition path. We needed more help from them, including putting together a preliminary and final plat. So that's what you're seeing here in the additional costs.
Okay, you said something about a final plat.
Yeah, they helped. Again, my apologies. Kevin, are you able to speak so that they can hear me on this?
Now I can, yes. They
you
provided
go.
more scope within their original contract, which included preparation of a preliminary and a final plat, as well as quite a bit more coordination with South Slope that wasn't included in their original slope. And then what was the other item? We had them look at other options through like the RARIC parcel to when we were negotiating with the RARIC. So they came up with different options and costs. So their scope was increased.
Questions for either Kevin or Ryan on that? If not, you have resolution number 2020-38, a resolution approving an amendment to task order number 2489-18A-1 between the City of North Liberty and Fox Engineering for the Southwest Growth Area Utility Improvements Project. Anyone wish to establish that resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Final discussion or questions? Mr. Wason, looked like you're about ready to ask one. You're on mute yet.
No,
Ready.
I've just been here a long time. I'm just moving in my chair.
Oh, okay. Tracy, take roll.
Wason,
Aye.
Harrington,
Aye.
Pollock,
Aye.
Hoffman,
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
I heard 5 ayes, no nays. Is that correct? Resolution deemed passed, 5 affirmative, none opposed. Next item is the Iowa RN or Iowa Warren Agreement. Ryan? This is a mutual aid agreement to do what?
Yeah, so this is simply a mutual aid agreement with other Iowa water and wastewater agencies. The truth is, we do a lot of this already. When folks call and ask for help, and if we're available, we're quick to respond, and vice versa. If we need help, they're available as well. We're just formalizing it with this mutual aid agreement. Both Drew and Greg are on board, and staff recommends approval.
Any questions for Ryan? You have resolution number 2020-39, resolution approving the mutual aid and assistance agreement for the Iowa Water Wastewater Agency Response Network and the City of North Liberty. Anyone wish to establish that agreement?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Final discussion or questions? Tracy, please.
Pollock,
Aye.
Wason,
Aye.
Smith,
Aye.
Harrington,
Aye.
Hoffman,
Aye.
Okay, I heard 5 ayes, no nays. Is that correct? Resolution passes 5 affirmative, none opposed. Old business, please. New business, Brent, I think you had something.
Go ahead, Brian.
Hey, I just wanted to remind people, stay home. Please, please, please do. Things are really starting to pick up here at the hospital, and we have enough stuff to worry about. So just everybody stay home the best you can.
Thank you. Brent? You had something in regards to Mr. Resnick?
Yeah, myself and Mr. Resnick attended a Zoom call with the Optimist Club this week. Want to say thank you again, Ryan, for joining me on that call. It was very engaging, and they had some questions about the sign ordinance after some of the avenue of flag signs had been found to be in the right of ways. So there were some good questions. Ryan engaged them in some of the ordinances and some of the plans that he has in going through and making some needed changes over time. And very excited to see the work that Ryan's already done, and appreciate the time that he gave and his response to the Optimist Club. So thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, Counselor.
Final note, Brian and Brent, how are you guys holding up? You're the most ones in the front lines.
It's getting a little busy here at the hospital, so really, if everybody can just stay home, stay away from everybody, wash your hands, and just try and ride this out. It's going to be a while yet. This isn't going to go away for a couple more weeks. So
You doing okay though?
I hope so.
Yeah, well, you're not sniffling or coughing, so that's good.
Yeah.
Brent, how are you holding up?
I'm good, Mayor. I appreciate you asking. The men and women of Cedar Rapids Fire are holding up, and I never would have thought in a million years that we would have to do what we are doing to stretch our PPE, like the hospitals and everyone else are doing. We're taking N95s and going as far as to bake them in pizza ovens to kill the microbes and be able to reuse them. So this is we're not the only ones, and there's been a lot of ingenuity and a lot of good ideas that have come about to keep people safe. And, I want to applaud again city staff for the safety measures they put forth, and echo what Brian is saying. Stay home. I know this sucks, and there's no other way around it. There's no better way to say it. We'll get through it.
Annie, how are you holding up?
Good. Thanks, Mayor. Just
Good. Rakisha?
I'm good as well. I just want to just reiterate what they said. Thank you all frontline workers. I can't speak enough on how sincerely appreciative I am of you all for risking your life day to day to go out and just make sure that we're good. The other thing is, just as far as the community goes, it's going to eventually get nicer outside, and it's going to be really tempting to go out and socialize and mingle. But try to resist that urge so that we don't have any more cases come here into our communities.
Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. You know, I was gonna, Brian and Brent, I wanted to pick up where everybody left off last time to say thank you. You guys unexpectedly just got thrown into this, and that's what you signed up for partly, but here you are. Thanks for being there for us. I have kind of a unique position as a council member. Staff, you guys are killing it on a daily basis. It's maybe a poor word to use there, but you guys are taking care of business here in the city, and we really do appreciate all of you and your leadership roles there. Mayor, I wanted to recognize you specifically. A couple of weeks ago, I asked Terry to keep me updated on what he's a part of and what he's knowing as Mayor Pro Tem in the event he needed help with anything. So I will just say it's exhausting keeping up with his schedule. So working a full-time job, not as a nurse, not as a firefighter, but just doing that. He's at a meeting every day at 9 o'clock with staff, like staff is doing remotely. I've asked him every day to just update me. We either meet across the driveway or on the phone or in an email every day. And he does that for me to be informed. And every day he's on a phone call, at least one thing I know of at 3 o'clock that he's listening to and a part of and helping the Emergency Operations Center. And I've been listening to those calls as well. All I do is listen. It's exhausting from start to finish running on a schedule like that in that way, not physically so much, but I wanted to thank you, Mayor, for doing that for us and taking that time to represent us like that and take care of business. So thank you all. It's good to see your faces.
Well, I tell you, I appreciate that. But the thing is, you all are important to the city of North Liberty, and just want to make sure that you're fine, you're okay, and there's something we can do. Just tell us. We'd be glad to do it. So, anything else, good folk? Thank you for your participation this evening. Have a good week and stay safe.